To you Geminis out here. So, um, look, the reason why it is that y'all getting a late reading is because I was actually taking a test secretly. Um, I wanted to just kind of like not talk about it and just, get down to the nitty gritty. Yeah, I'm not taking the test online again because there's definitely something wrong with it. My dear Geminis, I found that, and I'm not even making any excuses. There's definitely something wrong with it because I found that the more I'm ready for the answers, I'm ready for the questions, is the more that I realize like the entirety of the test is morphing around the questions that I'm answering. And so it's 105 questions, but the 105 questions are not specific to um the overall actual testing. It's more so based upon like it's more so based upon like the answers that it is that I'm giving is what shapes and morphs the actual test of itself. But regardless of the who to what, man, like I'm done with it at this point. I'm just gonna put the ads back in the video because I need the bread at this point. Anyway, the Nine of Pentacles, the Five of Swords, and the Eight of Wands speaks for you, Geminis, and thank you for your support, by the way. So these three cards right here speaks to how you Geminis are in a situation where, right off the rip, right, a lot of you are actually better off. Wow, interesting reading. A lot of you are actually better off being single right now, because basically you have someone that is interested in you, but they don't really know how to let go. And so for you Geminis, a lot of you are looking at it like, how will that look for you if you have someone that won't let you go and then as you're dating? So I just see that a lot of you Geminis are looking at it like, no, you have to get rid of the person who doesn't really seem to um, get the point that you Geminis want nothing to do with them, to let them go. To get them to let you go by making it perfectly clear that you want nothing to do with them. And the thing is that the Ace of Swords and the Magician represents, right? It's ironic because the Magician could either represent it represents Mercury, but it could also represent Scorpio as well, right? So Virgo, Geminis, so you showed up in your own reading, and then it could also represent Scorpio. So obviously I'm doing a Gemini reading. This is for you. The Ace of Swords and the Magician represents, yeah, like you just see things differently. And then there's this new saying that's going around where, if you learn how to basically be detached, where you learn to not be so caught up with when people want to come and go, it means that that's a defense mechanism because you've been hurt. Look, there's always a story. There's always something that's diagnosable, right? And it's like, what? And it's like no room for any kind of spirituality. And this is what it is that I'm talking about. What's happening here for you Geminis is this. Bump what they saying. You Geminis are getting more and more spiritual. And so what's happening here for you Geminis is y'all are in a particular situation where for you want to be by yourself right now because you're making room for your own spiritual growth, mental growth, financial growth, and you need space. You can't have people around you who all it is that they want to do is just figure out ways to get on your nerves because they think that they should be the ones with you or whatever the case may be, right? And so because of this, a lot of you Geminis also understand that, you will do your best to kind of, again, Tower card, let this person know that you're not into them. It's someone that someone that you are acquainted with at the very minimum. You know them, okay? And I'll show you why I say that you know them. Your life is changing for the better. Um, you Geminis are surprised at how your life is changing. And you don't really quite know where this thing could really go. So the situation for you Geminis is the Emperor and the Page of Cups speaks to how your life is, like I said, your life is changing for the better. However, there's so much to even say. There's so much to say. Like, you know so much more now compared to how you used to. So it's almost like this is academic, what it is that you should do, right? And when I say academic, I mean like you know exactly what it is that you Gemini's got to do. You got to stay single right now. You know, you're not always going to be single. But as of right now, you have some things that you got to take care of. One of those things that you have to take care of is this delusional person that doesn't really want to get away from you. This person that is trying that would come back, that has came back and or has come back. And the thing is that for you, Geminis, another thing that you have to also think about is your own spiritual upbringing. You Geminis are in a particular situation where you have to be able to understand, right, that when it comes to spiritual development, when it comes to your own development, you have to be the one that's in front of that, meaning that you cannot allow other people to squander this, because you should never do anything to ruin this opportunity that you have. People literally have been unfortunately, right? People have literally been unalived for the knowledge that you Geminis know, right? A lot of times people get up on here and they make fun of me. I don't care. I don't. Because this kind of spiritual understanding, right? The ego, people have lost their minds where, you know, the weight of society and the ego games and the code switching and the changing of personalities and stuff like this, where I've learned to actually evolve past that, meaning breaking from those things, right? Being okay with it, you know, seeing through people's nonsense, right? And that's where you Geminis are. Why that's important is because that new, how do I say, like a surfer, like that new, your brain has your brain has cavities, pathways in it, right? Grooves. And those grooves and electrical impulses that help power those things represent those pathways, right? And in the brain as well has pathways. So when I say like a surfer, I mean literally like your body is made out of 70% water, right? 65, 70% water. So like when you surfing, yeah, I'm not just referring to surfing on like a body of water, right? Like an ocean, but I mean surfing yourself, the mental, right? Learning to think differently, learning to think along different pathways. And so you Geminis are learning how to think quite differently than compared to how you used to, right? The things that affected you before and what used to get on your nerves. The reason why I said that this person has come back is the Nine of Swords, right? They're, you know, yeah, here they are trying to press you and get back in a relationship with you. And you Geminis are like, why would you want to be in a relationship with them? Why is this something that you Geminis would want, right? And they can't really give you a legitimate answer. Okay, if it took two, and it does take two, why would you Geminis decide to say, okay, you're actually going to be okay with them coming back and rekindling this connection that the two of you have? The answer is they don't. And so what happens is that there's a pressure that they have to apply. Like, hey, let's get back together. What's up? What's going on? So you'll find now, my dear Geminis, that people will call your phone a lot more, text you a lot more, reach out to you a lot more, almost to the point of it being bothersome, almost to the point of it being enraging, because what they're trying to do is that they're basically trying to get you to cave and say and cave in certain kind of ways to actually give them a little bit more of your attention, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. And this is why the person that's on top of the cliff is holding his or her hair, his hair, I don't know. Anyway, holding their head, because what they're trying to, right, in worry of this, what it basically mean is how much this person is pushing up on them. So let's clarify the Nine of Swords. Seven of Gabriel, 10 of Gabriel, 8 of Michael, 7 of Michael, and then you have the 4 of Michael to clarify the 9 of Swords. So this is my point, right? The 7 of Gabriel and the 10 of Gabriel is about how, again, you Geminis are not going to be intimidated by people applying pressure to you in that way, right? You know, there's applying pressure to get an answer, and there's what they're doing, okay? When I talk about apply pressure, I mean just trying to get to an answer. I'm not talking about, like, you know, what they're doing, which is, you know, they're trying to coerce you into changing your mind, right? So it's like, even if you Geminis don't necessarily want them, when you don't pick up the phone, they call you 1,000,001 times to get you to pick up, to be enraged, to, why are you calling me, this, that, and the third, I just want a little bit of your time, please listen to me. Okay, you put down the phone, then they call you again. I don't care, I'm going to continue to call the Geminis regardless. That's what they on, okay? That's not what I condone. That's not what I'm about. I'm talking about just trying to get an answer, get your answer, move accordingly, right? And so the 7 of Gabriel and the 10 of Gabriel, right, is about how, so again, they're coming on too strong. You know, they're coming on too strong, and boundaries needs to be had. If they're doing this with you, my honest suggestion is to block them. You know, but then some of you will say how, you know, they will have a different number. Well, then if they continue to come up with different numbers, then continue to ignore them at the end of the day. Because, and the reason why is that they're looking for a spiritual end. They're looking for you to actually accept them and to say, all right, I will talk to you, right? Like, for instance, even if you were to pick up the phone and they just was breathing on the other line, right? And then hang up the phone, right? Right? That's still not the opening that they're actually looking for. So you're picking up the phone and saying hello, right? Because they're on some prank calling you type stupid stuff. It's so goofy, yeah. But that's not the opening that they're looking for. They're looking for you to actually accept them potentially coming back by at least talking to them. So the thing is that the 8 of Michael, 7 of Michael, and the 4 of Michael speaks to how you Geminis have to remain strong. You know, if you don't want them coming back in, you've got other things to do. Listen, brush that off your shoulder, because these people are goofy anyway. Don't get caught up with that. 7 of Michael, 4 of Michael's. Yeah, there definitely needs a boundary to happen. You know, boundaries definitely do need to happen. But if they're crossing your boundaries, let them. Because at some point, you're going to stop caring about them crossing certain boundaries, because as long as they don't cross certain boundaries, coming over your house, wilding out, touching your things, putting their hands on your things, sneaking into your home or something like that, now we'd have a serious problem. But if they're just calling your phone, ignore it. You know, especially if put it like this: if you Geminis ignore them, and then like they go through the trouble of getting a new phone number, yeah, definitely don't even ignore them again on that phone number, because the phone number is a proxy number. So at that point, if they do that, that would mean that you Geminis would just have to just let them wild out and act stupid as possible, and don't even say anything to them ever. And normally what will happen is eventually they will move forward. But in the meantime, right, you Geminis move forward yourselves. The whole point of the reading it's about letting you Geminis know that you still have progression to make. You still have a life to live, and live your life and enjoy yourself, even though you Geminis have idiots that still latch on to you trying to get your attention. And that's honestly, that's one of the tests, right? Like, I can't explain to you, Geminis. Again, what I realized is that all it is that the vast majority of people want to do is troll all day long. That's all they're about. They listen, you would promise to who knows who that they are about something. That they are about trolling all day long. I get BS prank phone calls and why? Well, don't worry about it. It's nothing breakable. But it's my derma roller. It's nothing breakable. It had nothing broke. But the point that I'm trying to make here is that that's all it is that they do. So you Geminis have a lot of spiritual advancement to do, but this is definitely one of those tests where, this is to show you to not be so caught up with what others want to do. Because that's one of the things that you will learn on this path that I had to learn, right? Like, somebody was wilding out earlier with me. They were acting brand new, basically. And before, they were so cool with me. Now they want to act brand new. Guess what happened? They're so dumb. They still had me on their Instagram. I just went ahead and like blocked them on my Instagram and kept it moving. You know what I mean? Because again, all of this unnecessary for no reason, no real justifiable reason, changing things up and acting brand new. People don't know whether or not they're coming or going, yo. They don't know whether or not they want to have an attitude. Weirdos. They fake 1 minute, they on one, they're emotional. So guess what it is that and then you Geminis are mutable air signs. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all ain't got time for So my suggestion to you Geminis is, don't take this stuff personally. You just got a lot of short yellow bus ones. Peace.